Chris Kyle, a U.S. Navy SEAL sniper, is currently on an important mission in the Third World. On the roof of an apartment building, he is examining the route of the U.S. convoy which could be at risk. Chris is looking at a Muslim woman wearing a burqa and a small bag underneath. She gives a child a grenade, which he then takes to the convoy to presumably attack it. Chris is given the go-ahead to shoot the child, but his morals put him into a quandary. A loud shot is then heard, and we are taken back to the childhood of Chris. In the forest, he is hunting with his dad. Since he was a child, his father thought he'd make a great hunter. Chris's dad lives by the belief that the three main types of humans in the universe are the sheep, wolf, and sheepdog. Sheep are weak, unable to protect themselves. Wolves prey on weak people, and sheepdogs protect their flock. The father wants his son, Chris, to become a sheepdog so that he can protect the people of his village from wolves. Chris is now a man, but he doesn't ever forget what his father said. Now a cowboy rodeo, he lives with his girlfriend, Sarah. After a race, he returned home and found Sarah and another man getting dressed. The man is beaten up and Sarah is thrown out. She calls him an unsuccessful farmer and a cowboy who is a fraud before she leaves. Chris may act cool, but he is aware that she's right. He's not been the shepherd that his father expected him to be. Chris, who has been drinking with his brother all night long, comes across the news of explosions at various U.S. embassies around the globe. His blood boils, and he finds a new purpose to his life when he sees the hundreds of Americans injured or dead. He goes the next day to Armed Force Career Assistance, wanting to be a part of it. He admires Chris's determination and suggests that he should join the SEALs. However, he does not do so without first pointing out the fact that many people who want to be SEALs give up in the beginning. Chris remembers this and begins the training. He is a very good target shooter and could become an expert sniper. After months of intense training, Chris finally passed the test to become a SEAL. Chris was enjoying his night at the bar one night when he met a gorgeous woman named Taya. The two instantly click and spend the rest of their night in bed together. They fall in love and marry each other over time. Chris, his SEALs, and their guests are told that they will be sent to Iraq on the day of their wedding. The SEALs celebrate their milestone, and they are thrilled about the first posting. Taya is concerned for her husband, but he assures Taya that he'll return in 6 months. This troop has been assigned to Fallujah, Iraq. It is there to guard the first Marines who are searching for terrorists in a city that was evacuated. Chris's scene is changed to that of the opening scenes, when he was ready to kill the boy. Chris shoots the kid as he sprints toward the convoy. She rushes over to the boy and attempts to finish the job. Chris fires a shot through her chest and the grenade explodes away from the convoy. He is praised by everyone for saving the Marines in the convoy, who otherwise would have been dead. Chris, however, can only think about the boy who is dead. He had no idea that his first victim would be an innocent child who didn't even know what he did. Chris protects the troops as days go by. Chris is the most skilled sniper in his team. He's so committed that he pees on himself to keep his position. He gets 6 kills in a day, which is higher than all of his team members combined. Chris is called the legend, but he wonders if it's the other way around. He gets a surprise call one day from Taya, who reveals that she's pregnant. The two begin to talk on the telephone frequently and take care of one another, even when they're not together. The sniper squad is informed of an Al-Qaeda leader called Zarqawi in the next scene. They are primarily targeting the leader, his lieutenants, and any suspicious activity in relation to them. Chris continues to protect them while the team goes door to door the following day. All goes well until one soldier gets injured. Chris decides to help the team search while his fellow shooters keep an eye on them. They find an Arabic sheik and his family in a house that was supposed to be vacant. He claims they have nowhere else to live. The sheik wants them to leave because if the butcher catches the Americans talking to the U.S. soldiers, then he'll kill their entire family. It turns out that the butcher is one of Zarqawi's subordinates, who may be useful in finding the man. Sheik, who gave the information, was promised money and safety elsewhere. A military vehicle arrives the next morning to pick up Sheikh. Chris is informed by Taya that they will soon be expecting a son. While his SEALs colleagues congratulated him, the car driver was shot and killed. We are then introduced to Mustafa, a terrorist and sniper. Gold medalist at the Olympics, he is known for his almost impossible shots. He also attacked these people. A vehicle crashes because there is no driver. Taya is on the phone and panics. She asks Chris, who's still talking, if Chris is okay, but all she hears is gunshots. Chris manages to hide and spy on his rivals. The butcher takes the sheikh, his wife, and son hostage. He then brutally kills his child with a drill. Sheikh tries to save the child but is shot dead. Chris is unable to fight the enemy because Mustafa, who has discovered where Chris is hiding, is firing constantly at him. Both the butcher and Mustafa are unharmed in the end. Chris, his team, and their home are returned a few days after the initial incident. Taya's joy at seeing her husband alive and well is overwhelming. After living with her husband for a couple of days, Taya realizes that she is no longer the person he used to be before he left. He is now a man full of complaints and has lost the ability to appreciate life. The things that he witnessed and had to endure have changed his personality. The couple are returning home from the hospital in the next scene when Taya begins to labor. Chris reverses the car, and hours later, a baby boy arrives. Taya, Chris's wife at home, encourages him to share his thoughts and feelings. He claims that it will not help to talk about his feelings and experiences. He is told shortly after that the team will once again be going to Iraq. Taya does not want him to leave but knows he will do his best. On arrival in Iraq, they were told their mission was to find the butcher, and Chris would be leading this team. Chris has a head bounty placed by Al-Qaeda because he killed so many people. On the first visit to Butcher's alleged residence, they encounter a family. The family's head claims they don't know anything about terrorists. Chris discovers a mark that appears to be a wound on Chris's elbow. Chris searches his room when no one's looking and discovers heavy weapons and ammunition in a secret compartment hidden on the floor. He is immediately caught and interrogated. He promises that he will help soldiers enter the building to find Butcher. The troops carefully surround said building in the following scene. He knocks at the door and his terrorist friends welcome him. The man who tried to pick up the gun is also killed instantly. When the team enters the home, they find corpses that have been cut up by the butcher. They are soon spotted by terrorists who backfire. As a result of the shooting, the butcher uses the tunnel to flee. Chris struggles with his new normal when he returns to America. Loud noises remind Chris of his wartime experiences. Taya delivers their daughter while he is suffering in silence. Chris visits her at the postnatal unit and sees the nurse caring for another child as his daughter cries. The incident makes him lose his temper and shout at the nurses. Taya is not unaware of his strange behavior. Taya tells him often that he's never present and is constantly thinking about something. She is trying to get him to tell her what he feels, but he's not yet ready. Chris's crew is in Iraq, pursuing the butcher van. They run up to the building nearest them to get a better look at the enemy's fire. Someone shoots Biggles, Chris's friend. Chris covers the wounded soldier as he rushes to base. The soldiers, after ensuring that the injured soldier receives the proper medical attention, set out to hunt for terrorists once more, but this time with fury. The soldiers become killing machines and kill every enemy that they come across. They stop to search for enemies at one house, but the terrorists waiting outside ambush them. In the shootout that follows, a soldier named Mark is killed. The team later returns to their home and attends Mark's funeral. Chris says that Mark had written a letter before his death. The letter, he claims, killed him as the man had already given up life before his death. Chris decided to return to get revenge because he could not let the sacrifice of his friend go unpunished. Taya begs him to stay for the sake of his children. Chris refuses to listen when she tells him he may return home empty. He learns that Biggles passed away during the surgery in Iraq. Chris is on a normal mission when he sees someone with a rocket-propelled grenade preparing to attack the convoy. Chris shoots the man dead, but notices a child trying to grab the rocket-propelled grenade. Chris hoped that he wouldn't need to kill another child, and to his delight, the boy ran away after he couldn't carry the propeller. He and his team were told in the base that the government was trying to build an outer wall for the city. The team believes that Mustafa is the terrorist who has fired at them over 1,000 yards. Soldiers are told to take down the sniper no matter what. The team continues to go, despite the sandstorm that is blocking the way. The team takes their positions and aims in the direction they believe Mustafa will be. He surprises them, however, by shooting in the opposite direction. A U.S. soldier is killed. Chris tells everyone to move and line up according to the orders he gives. He sees the movement he predicted about 2,100 yards. Chris, despite the fact that the other players claim it's impossible to shoot Mustafa from such a distance, confirms that the target is Mustafa. Before pulling the trigger, he whispers, "For Biggles," under his breath. This also makes the other terrorists hear the shot and rush to the roof. Both parties suffer serious injuries in a shootout. A sandstorm strikes the troop just as they are about to run low on ammunition. Chris, convinced that he's about to die, calls Taya and tells her that he wants to go home for good. They decide, however, to run and hide in the rainstorm after making the phone call. Chris was shot in the confusion, but luckily for him, the soldiers saw him and pulled him to safety. Scenes are cut to several months later. Chris was drinking at a bar when his wife called him. He is still suffering from PTSD and any loud sound scares him. Taya urges him to see a psychiatrist, which is very helpful. Talking to other war veterans makes him feel understood. He begins to enjoy life again, even if he can't go back to the carefree and young self he was before. Chris moves in with his family to reconnect with them and re-establish a relationship. As he used to do with his dad, he also brings his son hunting. A young, troubled former Marine came to see him on February 2nd, 2013. Chris promises his wife he will return by the evening, but he never does. Later, it is revealed that Chris's ex-Marine friend who was trying to assist him killed Chris.